During Thursday Night Football, the 49ers beat the Seahawks. I think it was 21-13. And something dawned on me while watching this game, while watching the 49ers and watching them beat the Seahawks. The 49ers is the best. They're the best team in football. They are the best team in football. However, I don't think there's any other team that you can honestly say is dictated by their quarterback. And shouts out to Brock Purdy. He had yet another good game. 2-game win streak at this point for him. But when you look, the 49ers are rolling on their defense right now is on a historic level. I've been saying majority of the year that I had Micah Parsons as the defensive player of the year. Right now, to me, it's a toss-up between him or Nick Bosa. You can not agree with his off the field views, which is cool. But one thing I cannot deny is how good Nick Bosa is and how unstoppable he's been this entire year and how he has been the catalyst for a 49ers team that, like I said, is on a historic pace. I think they haven't allowed a second. I think they allowed one or two second half touchdowns since week 7. The 49ers are so good. They have so many weapons that can beat you so many ways. The problem is, and one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people, including myself, don't know how far the 49ers can go is because of their quarterback position. Look at the quarterbacks that they've funneled through this year. It started off with Trey Lance. Trey Lance was supposed to, but we realized maybe he wasn't ready. Then, of course, Trey Lance gets hurt. You bring in Jimmy G. Jimmy G, we know how good Jimmy G is. We know how good he can be. We also know where his ceiling is and how high his ceiling is. Or let's say how low his ceiling is. Not saying he's a bad quarterback, but one thing that we know about Jimmy G is he will give the defense one or two opportunities to get a pick. He does it almost every game. Now, he's good enough to get you to the Super Bowl. I mean, of course, the 49ers did get to the Super Bowl, but we also have to realize what Jimmy G is working with. Even this year, Jimmy G, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance is working with arguably, in fact, I don't even think it's arguable at this point. The 49ers are the best defense in the league. But I think it's crazy that you watch this 49ers team and there's still doubt. And the only doubt is because of the quarterback position. I mean, the running back position is straight. You got Christian McCaffrey. When he comes back, you have Deebo Samuels. Of course, you have George Kittle, who is still arguably one of the best, not the best, clearly, but one of the best tight ends in the league. I'll say probably second or third. I kind of put him up there with Mark Andrews. Of course, you have Brandon Ayuk. This team is the only team that you can honestly say can be a toss-up. I don't know, and this team, the 49ers are so good, I don't know how good Brock Purdy is. Brock Purdy can be, right now, Brock Purdy looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league these last 2 weeks. Is that because of the people that he's playing around, or is that because he's just that good? I'm not here to disrespect anybody. What I'm here to say is the 49ers, especially when you talk about the totality of the team when healthy, is the best team in football. They are better. They're the best defensive team by a long shot, in my opinion. And when you look offensively, how many other teams can you say have the weapons that the 49ers have? The only thing that you can say is, well, and if you look at the Ravens, they have Lamar Jackson. If you look at the Bills, they have Josh Allen. If you look at the Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes. You look at Any of the top teams, the Bengals, they have Joe Burrow. The Chargers, they have Justin Herbert. The Packers, even though they are better than the Packers this year, they have Aaron Rodgers. I think we talk about stories, especially when we talk about MVP and we talk about stuff like that. And while no, I'm not saying Brock Purdy should be or is in the MVP discussion. But imagine if Brock Purdy leads the 49ers to the Super Bowl and ultimately wins it. We talk about stories. That probably would be the greatest story in NFL history. In fact, I don't think the last pick of the draft that was a quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl. So imagine you go to the Super Bowl and think about the matchups that they could see in the Super Bowl. The 49ers could go against the Bengals. And what do the 49ers, I would probably choose the Bengals because they're back and of course their offense, but that defense is ferocious of the 49ers. Or the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes would have to have a Herculeic performance to beat that defense. That defense is that good. I'm not saying that they're better, but I put that defense on some of those Ravens defenses or the Steelers defenses. That's how good they are. Again, man, I guess this is a congratulations or a shouts out to the 49ers for winning Thursday Night Football. And for people that's going to say this, I understand. They're going to say, well, Jay, what about, look who they played. They played the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense has not been good majority of this year. And the Seahawks are kind of showing who that high is kind of coming down. I get it. But this isn't just a 1 week thing. The 49ers have been on a roll. And that is behind the play of their defense. And of course, we're talking about the defense and how great it is, but a lot of times people forget and people fail to mention how good this offense is when healthy. It's just about the quarterback. I said this coming into the season. I said the 49ers have arguably the best roster. And I would always say that because if you look at that, doesn't really matter. And if you want an example of that, look at the Broncos. The Broncos have arguably one of the best rosters in football, and the Broncos are currently 3-10. So when I say, the 49ers have one of the best rosters, it doesn't matter as much. It's just how you put it together. The Chargers have one of the best rosters, if not the best roster, and they're 7-6. Now, yes, I also understand injury plays a part in everything, but they're 7-6. The Buccaneers have a great roster, 6-7. The Saints have a good roster. They're 4-9. What I'm saying is this. I think that the 49ers they're good enough. They're clearly good enough to win a Super Bowl. It really depends on their quarterback. Because if you imagine you had Aaron Rodgers. Even this year's Aaron Rodgers. Imagine you had Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback of the 49ers. Imagine if you had, this year's Tom Brady, who, by the way, I just saw the stat. He's on pace to throw 757 passes in one season, which would be the record. I also saw a report by The Athletic saying that this is likely his last season. Now, we've seen that before. I don't know, but, I think that kind of, lack of a better term, I'm kind of on the fence about this feeling of pressure when we talk about Brock Purdy or the quarterback position of the 49ers. Because if I'm somebody sitting at home, if I'm somebody sitting at home watching this and thinking to themselves, the 49ers are one of, if not the best team in football. It's all about the quarterback. I think on one hand, you can say that that's an immense amount of pressure because you understand If you're good, this team is good enough to win. If you're good, this team is a Super Bowl winning caliber team. So I understand an immense amount of pressure there. I also understand the pressure of, well, they're saying this because of the roster that we have and because of the defense is playing on a historic level, and because even if I'm not playing well, you still have Christian McCaffrey, you still have Deebo Samuels when he comes back, you still have George Kittle, who's one of the best tight ends. You still have Brandon Ayuk. You still have a bunch of pieces. And this isn't just to Brock Purdy. This is whoever, because, there is reports that Jimmy G should be coming back. And whether he comes back to it, that's another question that we're going to have. Is this going to be like a Carson Wentz, Taylor Heineke situation? Not saying that in fact, the 49ers, this to me is exactly, well, I'm not going to say exactly because it doesn't really seem like reports have come out that the locker room isn't too fond of a Carson Wentz, and it seems like they like Jimmy G. But players, I take it from a basketball standpoint because that's how I'm always going to see things in a basketball standpoint because I played basketball. We all know about the coach's son, right? We all know that if the coach has a son, 9.5 times out of 10, the coach's son is going to be there. Meaning this coach's son is going to take up a spot for somebody that's probably better than him. We just know that. In fact, almost everywhere, high school, my coach had 3 sons. 2 of them was god-awful, trash, terrible. They were on the team. Players around know. Like players, it's like a respect level thing as well. Players around know the only reason why you're on this team, bro, is because your dad is the coach. But you have James over there who didn't make the team, but if he was on the team, he would average 15 points. Or I don't know, Lamont over there, he'll probably average, he's 6'8", 6'11", he'll average 10 rebounds, but because we needed 2 spots and coach gave it to you. They'll play with you, Pauls. They'll play together on the team. But in the back of their mind, they always know, he is better than you. Same as the Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz situation. Carson Wentz is probably better than Taylor Heineke. Ain't no probably. Carson Wentz is better than Taylor Heineke. But there's a reason why Washington looks drastically different with Taylor Heineke, the lesser talented quarterback, than they do with Carson Wentz, because they want to play with Taylor Heineke. I'm not saying that the 49ers don't like Jimmy G, but they look drastically different with Brock Purdy than they do with Jimmy G, than they do with Trey Lance. It seems like they want to play. And Brock Purdy is making explosive plays left and right. So in conclusion of this topic, man, look, the 49ers are good. Michael Parsons is still up there, but I'm starting to think it might be Nick Bosa to win Defensive Player of the Year. And this team, the 49ers, after watching Thursday Night Football and watching how the only thing that was holding them back, and he didn't even play bad, but the only thing that was holding them back is the quarterback position. I think that at the end of the day is going to decide the 49ers' fate. Because if you put them up, I can see the 49ers beating any team in this league or in the league. I can see them beating the Bills. I can see them beating the Chiefs. I can see them beating the Bengals. I can see them beating the Chargers. I can see them beating any team in the NFL. But I can also see them losing to any team in the NFL because of the quarterback position and how questionable it could be. Now, yes, the defense can definitely, make up for a lot of deficiencies. But as we see majority of the time, sometimes that doesn't work out. Sometimes when you have to go to plan B and plan B is the quarterback, sometimes it just doesn't work. Hell, we saw that with the Titans. We see that with the Titans damn near every year in the playoffs. When plan A, which is the run game, Derrick Henry, when that doesn't work or the defense isn't working, you have to put it in Ryan Tannehill's hands, and we see how that goes. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.